Hello, thank you for listening. Let's talk about the human mind. Now, the brain is the most wonderful thing. Not only does it regulate the rest of the body, it stores and learns from all our experiences. It regenerates itself continuously, developing new neuron pathways. And it's not just limited to our heads. The enteric nervous system in our belly has more than 100 million nerve cells, linking the emotional and cognitive centers. That's how we get gut feelings. But what is it that regulates this extraordinary nervous system? Whilst there are biochemical processes that accompany all our daily thoughts and nightly dreams, where do those thoughts and dreams come from? How is it that we can be aware of our own thinking and observe the action in a lucid dream? This is the work of the mind. Now, there's a huge amount of evidence that our consciousness can separate from the body and function perfectly well. Think of out-of-body, near-death, mystical experiences, or even astral projection. Yet the evidence is not just anecdotal, it's also quite rational. New discoveries in neuroscience suggest that we all have what scientists call a mental field, existing in another dimension. Most of us are familiar with the idea that our minds can visit non-physical states in everyday life, and that we have higher senses beyond the 5 bodily ones. Telepathy, remote viewing, for example, have been proven beyond doubt. We can know the future too. Here's an example. The school where I used to work was selling off 2 old minibuses for a modest price, and I wanted to buy the older one, which was in better condition, and convert it into a camper van. The finance director accepted my offer, and we shook hands. That's how business used to be done. But that night, I had the following vivid dream. I was driving home from a holiday, and I saw a man at a crossroads selling 2 horses, a mare and a foal. I put the hazard lights on and went over to him, offering £450 for the mare. But something didn't feel quite right. And then I saw the police towing my car away, so I went after them without buying the horse. Now, I had some experience of dream interpretation, and this one was clearly about holiday plans, and it was clearly a warning. The crossroads, hazard lights, losing my car, and of course horse trading is a symbol of dishonesty. A few weeks later, the finance director at school announced that the 2 minibuses were going to be sold by secret auction. When I challenged him, he denied that we'd even discussed the matter, let alone made a deal. And here's the thing. The older minibus that I was interested in was duly sold to someone else for exactly £450. Now, yes, I do pay a lot of attention to my dreams, but there's nothing special about my mind. Yours is just as capable of precognition, of time travel, in the higher worlds of consciousness. The ancient Chinese even developed a method for anyone to access those deeper dimensions where everything is already known. It's written in the I Ching, the Book of Changes. It's actually pretty easy to use. We ask a question, something important that's on our mind, and we have a random act, like throwing coins, that leads us to one of the book's chapters. Here we find practical and ethical guidance about what's really going on in our situation. And it even describes the likely future outcome. This is pure synchronicity at work. The book is astonishingly accurate. I once applied for a new job, a promotion with more money, good prospects, or so I thought. And I asked the I Ching whether this move would be successful. The result shocked me, with clear references to misfortune, a danger of injury, a need for great determination. Not at all encouraging, although the book did suggest that the experience would be beneficial for my personal growth. Well, I wasn't sure at that time that I could trust a book's advice, and I really needed the extra money. So I took the job anyway. It was a 2-year nightmare. Everything foretold came true. My car was vandalized, I was personally assaulted, and I struggled to keep on top of the job with no support from management. However, I did learn a lot of new professional and personal skills that led to a far better and happier job elsewhere. None of these things could have been known in advance by any normal means. So we see, our minds are immensely powerful and they can reach a higher consciousness. This everyday physical world is only part of what it is to be human. Nuclear physics has now realized that it's our observation of electrons, our deliberate awareness of them, that creates their nature and behavior. The Nobel Prize winner, Niels Bohr, said, "Everything we call real is made up of things that cannot be regarded as real." In other words, physical things seem real only when we become aware of them. And the entire universe is created by consciousness. This higher source, if you like, is not physical. It transcends time and space. We could call it spiritual. These thoughts, these examples, all lead us to the very reasonable belief that if consciousness does not depend on and is separate from the physical body, then surely it must survive the death of our bodies. But in what form? Do we keep our individual personality, character, and memories? There's a lot of anecdotal evidence for this, although let's remember that there are alternative theories about what's happening. Perhaps instead, we become part of what Carl Jung called the collective unconscious, or Deepak Chopra's field of all possibilities, a place where everything is connected and everything is known, the so-called Akashic record. Is it this place we reach in precognitive dreams that the I Ching accesses or the spirit mediums are reading? Throughout history, many mystics have taught that consciousness is infinite, and there is nothing that is not part of it. It's like a thinking ocean in which we and all other things are water droplets, and thoughts are like waves that rise and fall on the surface, yet are all still part of the ocean. These are difficult ideas to get our heads around.